Crankworx is... it's a crazy thing to be involved in.
It's hectic, but you're in it and you're just like loving it.
A reunion of friends and people in different cultures.
All these cool different locations, all these different tracks.
There's always so much stuff going on.
People are just stoked on biking, and they're just stoked to be here.
Hearing so much energy around.
We live for that.
Unreal.
Please make sure that your seatbelt is fastened.
Big day of competition out here today in beautiful Rotorua, New Zealand. I'd say big day of competition because we have not one, but two live broadcasts. Of course, we finished off yesterday with the speed and style. It was quite a show. Today, we've got slalom and pump track. It's gonna be a big day for the fans out here watching all their favorite athletes. It's also going to be a big day for all those riders looking to get those valuable points for the King and Queen of Crankworx overall titles. A little bit cooler air out here today. We were slathering on the sunscreen yesterday, but we got a little bit of mist in the air, and the dual slalom course is looking absolutely beautiful. I'm your host, Cam McCall. I'm hanging out up here with a wizard on a mountain bike and an X Games gold medalist on a BMX bike, Alan Cook. Alan, We've had a pretty cool first couple days of this first stop of the 2024 season. We've had a couple downhill races. We had speed and style yesterday. We're starting to see who our emerging heroes are going to be in this season.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Always, have that sense of feeling when you're coming into Rotorua, the season's about to get kicked off. We're halfway through, and man, the season is kicked off. And I think today is going to be really exciting because we're going to see those Crankworx specialists really excel because we have so many points on the table for them to grab.
Well, some of those familiar faces you're seeing on the screen right now, Sam Blankensop. We saw Garrett Meacham, who took the gold medal in speed and style last night against the reigning king, the local boy here in Rotorua, New Zealand, Tuhoto Ariki Pene. And you know what? The story just continues. Some of the front runners for the women's category really showing what they're made of as well. Shania Rawson, Jordy Scott, Martha Gill already racking up some podiums so far. We're going to see them in our dual slalom. If you watched the speed and style last night, you know how some of those riders do not have tricks, and they're working so hard to try to get some of those points against some of those more slopestyle focused riders. Today it's a drag race. It's all about traction around those flat corners and those berms, and we're going to see some of those riders who took podiums in the Tanifa downhill and the Air DH really thriving out there today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think today the course is the best it's looked all week. We have that cloud cover. It's keeping the moisture in. We're going to see different bikes out there. Some of the riders choosing a little bit of short travel, full suspension. We're going to see some hardtails. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fast.
Yeah, there's so much to do out here. Everybody's enjoying being a part of it. It's become a tradition now. We're celebrating the 10-year anniversary out here in Rotorua, and I can't believe it went by that fast, first of all. But second of all, it's the greatest way to start the season. You get in, and it's just that familiar feeling. You smell the smells. You see that hero dirt that is unrivaled anywhere else in the world. And you see the local fans really get behind this event. It's great they have locals days where it's free to enter, and you got all the locals meeting all the riders. And you have some school programs as well. Some schools out here kind of seeing what the world of mountain biking has to offer. We even have some local bands out on the stage, which has been really fun to be a part of. Those of you watching online, make sure to join the chat. We're going to have so much fun all day. But you know what? This course, we talked about it a little bit. Let's get in a little bit deeper and see what this specialized dual slalom course is all about with this GoPro course preview.
I'm Jordy Scott.
And I'm Sam Blankensop.
And this is your specialized dual slalom Crankworx Rotorua GoPro course preview. All right, we got a brand new course this year. These corners are a lot more fun than last year.
First couple of corners. So whale tail, little quad.
Section's real good. Maybe I'll make the tabletop. Let's see.
Table.
Whoop. Ah! I did not.
Last flags. Here we go.
Flat turns down the bottom. Blake is a little too fast for me. Good run. Nice work.
A look at our women's quarterfinals, aka round of 8 bracket as they stand right now. It's a long road to get to this point. This is the big show, the broadcast round of 8. Some big names on there.
Yeah, big names. You see those little numbers to the left. That is their qualifying position. So that's when we're going to start seeing those numbers come together, and those matchups are going to get tighter and tighter as we go through the brackets.
How about Keelani Hines, #1 qualifier out there? You can see her on the podium in pump track so often, but no top 4s last season in slalom, so she's the one to beat today.
Yeah, I think, I can't even remember for sure not if Keelani made the trip over to New Zealand last year, so makes me kind of wonder, where's her focus? Is she refocusing on that queen crown maybe?
She could. She's definitely got the skills to be able to pull it off, so showing up to the first stop is a great way to kick off your campaign. A look at some of her dual slalom results throughout the history of the past few years. A couple wins, a couple seconds, and a third dating back to 2018, so no stranger to the gated flat corners, the rhythms and the berms of dual slalom. She's got that target on her back today, that #1 qualifying spot. Keelani Hines is going to be going up against Laura Goldsworthy, who qualified 8th. And here we go.
Yeah, Laura, local Kiwi, going up against the best in the business. Keelani Hines with that gate start, looking really smooth around those first turns. We heard Jordy talk about how those top turns are a little more fun. They're a little more angled, a little more banked, so they're able to be a lot more aggressive in and out of those top turns.
And no wonder she qualified first. Keelani is looking on point today on this dual slalom course.
This is where Keelani's expertise is going to come into play here, that veteran mindset. You know, slalom is one of those races where you can overcook it really easy and put yourself in a bad spot. So what she needs to do is not be too confident, keep her competitors next to her or behind her, and really build that speed throughout the day. And so her fastest run of the entire day is that last run when she needs it.
An easy maximum differential here for Keelani Hines. If you're new to watching dual slalom, we're going to get them back up to the top of the course, switch sides, and Goldsworthy, in order to advance out of this round, would have to beat Keelani Hines by more than 1.5 seconds. You gotta beat your competitor by more than they beat you by in run number 1, and in this case, it's the maximum differential. As you see Keelani able to just calmly cruise through the finish line here and get that maximum 1.5 advantage.
Yeah, talking with Jackson Frew a little bit earlier about the track, he said the white side is a slight advantage, but as you mentioned, everybody's going to ride both courses twice, and those times are all going to be combined, and so it's even, fair and square the whole way through.
So Keelani Hines taking that advantage into their second run matchup in this quarterfinal heat. Now we take a look at our second heat in the round of 8. Cassie Voicey and Shania Rawson.
Shania Rawson, our 4th place qualifier today here. We saw her last night in speed and style, really pushing her limits. Not quite all the tricks needed to move all the way into those gold medal matchups, but man, look at her cornering and pumping skills here. She is right here at home on this specialized dual slalom track.
Yeah, Shania taking the 4th in speed and style last night, the 3rd in the Tani Fa downhill, and 2nd in the air DH. So she's making a run at this queen crown for 2024.
Yeah, racking up those points. It's interesting to see after the first round, you know, how many points, you know, a single rider might get. Maybe their plans for the year might change, you know. Some of those destinations on the Crankworx World Tour look pretty enticing.
So look back at this run here. Shania Rawson taking the advantage.
Yeah, awesome start out of Shania. Just a little information about the gate. They are running the UCI BMX cadence, so it's a random start. Really evens it out. You hear the cadence, and then there's a period of time where it's from 0 to 5 seconds the gate may drop. So using that UCI BMX cadence for the gate starts here in our slalom racing.
Nothing gets the blood pumping quite like the sound of "Okay, riders, random start."
Absolutely. Yeah, look at the traction down here. I'm really excited to watch this day develop as those bottom flat corners are really starting to rut in. The moisture is in the dirt. We got some cloud cover, so it shouldn't dry out too bad. It's going to be a really good day of racing here on the hill.
It's done there. Thank you.
So next heat loaded up into the gate. We are looking at the eyeballs of Jordy Scott. Jordy with a great performance last night in speed and style, snagging that silver medal and getting a good start to her 2024 season. Here's a look back. This seems like just a few hours ago. We've had a few hours of sleep since then. She was up against Caroline Buchanan in the gold medal round.
Yeah, both riders were riding super, super good. Pretty similar tricks on the top, a little bit different on the bottom, but on time they were super, super equal, and it ended up being Caroline to bump her out just a little bit there with that Superman C-grab that she had in the bag.
So something we talked about a lot last night, and we'll bring it up now as well, is Sunday you're going to see the first time ever a women's field in the slopestyle competition. So Caroline Buchanan not competing in all of the events to focus on that slopestyle. Jordy Scott saying, all right, I want to be there one day, but I'm going to stick in this whole queen race here and race dual slalom.
Yeah, Jordy and Selena quite even through those first 2 turns. Jordy on that white course, that possibly a slightly faster track. But Zelina's going to need to keep her head straight and go as hard as she can, because when they swap back, she will have that advantage.
Oh,
needs to get every ounce out of this course that she can.
So Jordy, the number 3 qualifier today in slalom. And you know what? These head-to-head bracketed formats of racing, we have a few disciplines like this on the Crankworx World Tour, it's so possible for to see these upsets. A lower qualified athlete knocking out a top qualified athlete, but Jordy Scott looking strong right now to support that 3rd place qualifying result.
Yeah, we see Jordy coming through here. We got had the benefit of seeing her on the course preview. She was talking about this tabletop. You see her choose not to jump it right there. A lot of times it's faster to stay on the ground in these races. You can catch the back sides of the transitions. And when they say pump, that's you're pushing down on the ground and generating forward momentum off the back sides of all of these tracks. So there's a bit of pump track technique. You got to learn how to throw in those pedals and make it around these flat turns. Super, super technical racing out here.
We got a ton of comments coming in on the Red Bull Bike YouTube channel right now. Join the conversation. We gave away a prize. And last night's broadcast, we got another prize to give away. They're going to choose a comment and send you your prize, so keep them flowing. Jordy Scott with the advantage, moving into their second run. We'll talk about people who are starting their 2024 campaign with a bang. Martha Gill, left side of your screen right there, a third last night in speed and style, fifth in the Taniwha downhill, first a gold medal in the air DH 2 nights ago, in a second place qualifying position here. She's going up against Lynette Deacon.
Both riders with a solid gait. Yeah, talking about Martha, I was in the shuttle there on the downhill, and she's really focused on that crown. You know, she's considering herself a Crankworx specialist, and she's not going to be happy with anything but that queen title at the end of this season. She's doing exactly what she needs to do right here. Coming down the hill to the finish, this is where things tighten up on these flat turns. They're starting to run up quite nice, so able to really be aggressive through there.
So we always talk about your number 1, your number 2 qualifiers, and if they're still in the game at this point, you wonder, are they going to meet up in the final? It's 100% possible to see Keilani Hines and Martha Gill meet up in that gold medal matchup, the 2 fastest riders from qualifying.
See a little bit different style there out of Martha. She chose to jump rather than on the ground as we saw Jordy Scott. Dual slalom is the most fun, isn't it? Head to head, it's hard to beat head to head, isn't it?
It's classic. I mean, dual slalom is just so classic. This format's been around for so long, and it's great. I mean, there was a while where there wasn't slalom races. There's kind of just disappearing. So the fact that we've got slalom at all 4 stops on the Crankworx World Tour, keeping slalom alive. And Martha doing her best to stay alive in this competition as well. She takes the advantage over Deacon. Keilani Hines, the number 1 qualifier, the advantage over Goldsworthy. Rawson over Voicey, and Jordy Scott over Hoppin. Oh, I'm getting word right now. I know what the prize is going to be for today's giveaway. So keep those comments flowing. They're going to pick somebody to win the prize. Today, it's a t-shirt autographed by, drumroll please. It's going to be the king, Tuhoto Ariki Penny. He's signed a shirt. And if you're a big Tuhoto fan, make sure you feed us all these comments. I'm reading them. Every once in a while when I get a free second, I'm writing back to you out here. We're putting you on the screen. So make sure you keep those comments flowing. We're going to let you know in our second broadcast today, the Pump Track broadcast, during the podium, we're going to let you know who wins the t-shirt. And who knows, maybe Tuhoto is going to be on the top of that podium.
You never know.
He's won Pump Track a lot. He's won it here before.
Absolutely.
You need a t-shirt with his name on it. Feed us your comments. What do we got? We got a comment right now. It's gone. All right, for the men, the round of 8, AKA the quarterfinals, looks like this, Alan Cook.
Yeah, I'm seeing Jackson Frupp there, our fastest qualifier. Jacob Jewett down there, second fastest qualifier, but more noticeable, some of those names that aren't there. Some of those riders that did get eliminated a little bit earlier. We're not seeing Baz Van Steenberg. We're not seeing a couple other riders. Gilchrist, he's not in there. So, you know, new names, new season. It's going to be exciting.
You know what I like? Obviously, Penne and Blanketsop, that's going to be a good one. 5th and 4th qualifiers. But Lackey, Stevens, McNabb going up against Garrett Meacham. 2 riders who already have gold medals from this first stop. Lackey won the Taniwha downhill. Garrett Meacham won last night's speed and style. That's going to be a really good heat. Right now, it's all about Jackson Frew and Nishkin. This is the tire setup that Jackson's running. Oh, the suspension setup. RockShox suspension that Jackson Frew is using for this dual slalom race here. He's got Fox on his bike, though, so who knows. Parker Nishkin, the 25th qualifier. Can he knock out this Goliath? Here we go. The number 1 qualifier, Jackson Frew.
Yeah, Parker's got a steep climb ahead of him, coming all the way from Half Moon Bay. Getting a good gate start, looking pretty smooth around those first couple of turns. We were talking earlier about how they're so much steeper up top and you're able to be so much more aggressive. But man, Parker's looking really good here. Oh, keeping Jackson honest.
No way. And this is when you start wondering, okay, do we have one course that is noticeably faster than the other? Because number 25 qualifiers.
Oh, Parker, hold on. Parker with an insane double tire slide around those flat turns. But man, that was the first time I saw somebody on their heels on that white side of the track. So, you know, if that is truly the faster track, Parker does have a chance to come back here.
Did you hear that? Jackson said, hey, first time in the live stream. Something tells me that Parker maybe had issues in qualifying because he's riding way faster than you would expect from a 25th qualifier. Plus, he made his way through the round of 32, through the round of 16 to find himself here going up against the #1 qualifier. It's gonna be hard not to root for this kid in their second run. Look at this, here's where he lost traction.
Yeah, coming down into these flat corners, trying to give all the speed he wants. Look at that front tire. You see him start to pedal there? He was trying to pedal a little too early, and what that does is that unweights the front tire, and the knobbies come a little bit out of the soil, and you saw him right there, what we like to call dirt surfing.
Did you see him? He got outside of the rut on that following left-hander, but somehow just created his own traction outside of the rut to keep it on the track to not miss a gate.
That was wild.
Dueling Banjos just subscribed. I want to subscribe to you, Dueling Banjos. What is your YouTube channel all about? Well, take a look at these number plates. They'll have numbers on them, except for one. Here's what Tuhoto thinks about having that on his bike this year.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like, when you look at your bike, it's like no number, it's just King or Crankworx. I was like, yo, that's pretty mean. It's funny. I like it.
It's funny. It's no easy task to get that King number plate. And Tuhoto had an amazing 2023 season. Now he's got the target on his back. He's a #5 qualifier going up against the legend Sam Blankensop, who qualified 4th. It's going to be a tight one.
Riders ready, watch the gate.
Both riders extremely fast out of the gate. The horsepower that these riders have, we're going to see it right here. You see Blanky pedaling where you might not normally.
Mistake for Blanky.
Yeah, he's going to have to try to recover there. Tuhoto pulling out a little bit of a lead. He was close on that gate there. We'll see if that was just maybe a pedal that hit that gate. We do have line judges keeping an eye on these riders' wheels around every corner.
Yeah, strong advantage there from our reigning king, Tuhoto Ariki Pene, with a 1.125 advantage over another former king of Crankworx from the 2018 season, Sam Blankensop.
Why do I go with you all the time? You're supposed to be up here.
You hear those guys talking, you can tell they're good friends. This is where Blanky was talking about coming out of this turn. He was trying to pedal. You know, you want every ounce of every second you can right there, that pedal, and it was just a little bit in the wrong spot, and he ended up facing that next jump and losing his pump. And he knew as soon as that happened, he was on the back of his heels, and Tuhoto was going to take that win. Awesome to see Blanky out here. Was this like the, I don't know, Blanky version 7.0? The guy keeps reinventing himself and is equally as impressive in every version that he displays. It's riding that new bike, riding for zeroed.
He's looking so strong. As we mentioned a minute ago, a former king of Crankworx from the 2018 season, Sam Blankensop. And like you say, always reinventing and never slowing down. He's gonna, I mean, a bit of a mistake in that run, so he's gonna have to claw back from that 1.125 advantage. We'll get them back up to the top of the course for another lap. So, Lockie Stevens McNabb, a name that I had not heard until the Tani Fa downhill last weekend. And wow, this is not going to be the last we see from this kid. Take a look at his winning run.
Yeah, it was quite the run. Definitely riding the edge from top to bottom. You could see the heart and how bad he wanted it. Coming down through the motorway into the final finish corral. Going green right there and was able to stay on the hot seat for the rest of the race.
Man, the future is bright. Some of the talent coming out of New Zealand and Australia that we're getting a glimpse of here in this first stop of the 2024 World Tour. It's going to be insane to watch these new names, these new careers that are blossoming right now. So Lockie Stevens McNabb going up against the California native who won speed and style last night, Garrett Meacham.
Garrett Meacham definitely putting himself solid in that Crankworx specialist category. This is a big opportunity for him to get some points. But Lockie is going to keep him very, very honest. Riders side by side coming down. Rojo with a little bit of an advantage coming down to the most technical part where we have these flat turns. You got to be patient, but man, you got to stay so on it. Man, Garrett able to pedal almost all the way through and stay just in front with a .127 advantage over Lockie.
Such a tight matchup there, only .127, as you say, separating these two riders. Man, Garrett, I mean, we said it so much last night when he took the gold in speed and style, but he's looking so strong this season. He's been putting in the work in the off season.
Look at this line into these flat turns. Look at Garrett. As he comes down this, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pedals through the flat turns. That is going to be hard to beat.
He picked such a good line to start into that flat corner section that he was able to be sprinting through all those gates.
Yeah, doggy.
Yeah, doggy. So Meacham with the small advantage there. Oh, this is going to be good. Tegan Cruz and Jacob Jewett coming up. Huge performance in the Tani Fa downhill from Jacob Jewett, and then a third in the Air DH, so a second and a third already this week. So here's some of the guys that can really throw a wrench in the works of some of our established veterans here. Ryan Gilchrist, issues earlier today in dual slalom. We're not seeing him in our broadcast, but Jacob Jewett's up there in the gate right now, looking to grab another medal from this already fruitful trip to Rotorua, New Zealand. A silver and a bronze already to his name. Here we go. Jacob Jewett is the number 2 qualifier today. He's going up against number 10 qualifier, fellow Canadian Tegan Cruz.
Yeah, we've seen Tegan Cruz do really, really well in this discipline. Not sure about that number 10 qualifier. Looks like Tegan gets the whole shot there out of the gate, but Jewett definitely pulling along right now. You might recognize that name. Winner of the big downhill race in Canada last year, the 1999 inaugural season. And he opened it with a win. There he goes right there, pushing across the line. There's a beam there at the finish line, and the time starts when the first rider goes through and stops when the second rider goes through, and that is how we're telling that time difference. So you see them pushing through the limit there as they go across the line just to try to get any thousandth that they can. Trying to see the advantage here where Jacob is making up this time. It's just that aggression on those backsides as he's pushing down, trying to get that momentum generated off the backsides of the jumps, railing the turns. So much aggression in his riding.
Look at that, just staying so low, almost clipping the top of that roller, but staying elevated and just pumping all the speed possible down those backsides. Just the precision of Jacob Jewett right now is so impressive. How long does he hold his manual through the finish line, too?
Yeah, bro.
Ooh, look at that. Jacob Jewett with the fastest time of the day so far, breaking underneath that 24-second mark, the 23.26.
Making out your top 5.
Yeah, the track is cutting in nicely. It's definitely going to be getting faster.
Hey, guess what, everybody? I told you that we're going to have another giveaway today. Yesterday, we gave away a shirt with all of the female slopestyle competitors who signed it. Boom, look at this. This one is signed by none other than
the King.
The King. Tuhoto Ariki Penny signed one of these nice Crankworx Rotorua 2024 merch shirts. This one is one of a kind, and you can win it by joining our conversation in the chat. We're going to pick somebody to win that shirt right now. And we've got a poll as well. Let's see what you guys think. Who do you think was the wild card who could shake up the podium And we want to know, Jordy, Shania Rawson, Lockie Stevens-McNabb, that's who I would vote for right now.
Yeah, that last round.
Meacham.
Yeah.
You too?
Ooh, man, he's looking really, really fast today. Yeah, I think he's definitely on a pace to make some upsets.
And to beat everybody in the Taniwha downhill, I mean, that's the real deal. So I think we're going to be talking about that name for a long time. So let us know who you think is going to shake up the podium. We put our votes in. And Alan, you're not only a rider, you're in the industry and you work for Specialized. You guys are a partner, a global partner of the World Tour, and we're celebrating the 10th year anniversary of Rotorua right now, which is pretty special. What does it mean for you guys to be involved in this event?
I mean, it's the #1 connection to a very target audience, right? Like we have different sayings at Specialized, things like, you know, rider is the boss, innovate or die, and things like that. And what that means is we learn what the riders are doing by being out there. And I think the pinnacle of the sport in these categories is here at Crankworx. You can see here back in 2017, Nikolai taking that Triple Crown. You know, these were some of the early times out of Loic. You know, getting him out to these events. He's been in Cairns before. You know, different races here and there. But you know, just having our athletes involved and being at the pinnacle of the sport is one of the most important things that we can do, because we're listening to the riders, we're watching the riders, and that stuff is getting engineered into these bikes. And to have our riders there and to be in front of these audiences and being able to push the limits and us being able to learn from them and engineer that back into the bikes is just giving people what they want.
And so many different disciplines here on the Crankworx World Tour. It's a truly unique opportunity to kind of hone these products in. And I know I, for one, can't believe some of these highlights that we're looking at. I can't believe how long ago they were when you do the math between now and the year that they're shown on screen. It went by so fast. They say time flies when you're having fun, and fun is exactly what we've been having for the past 10 years out here at Rotorua. It's become the tradition. We love it. And we gotta thank you for being involved there, Alan. So this is just the first stop, but we're already developing our story right now for the queen of Crankworx, Keilani Hines, showing up to the first stop. We know she's starting her campaign. We know she would love to grab that crown. A lot of opportunity with Caroline Buchanan. She's won the last 2 Queen of Crankworx titles, and she's focusing primarily on slopestyle now, so that opens up the door.
Yeah, it's been super interesting to see. You know, the Queen has been super close the last couple of years between 3 or 4 of the top women, and we've seen a couple of them take a step aside to really focus on that slopestyle category that has been added here by Crankworx. So it's going to be interesting. It's anybody's game. It's a whole new season.
Keilani, #1 qualifier for today's event. She's got a 1.5 advantage in this heat right now. So sometimes these are the most challenging moments, though, because you don't want to take it too easy and break from your routine of charging down this course. But Keilani is no rookie. She's a veteran out here, especially in these head-to-head formats. So let's see how she handles this.
Yeah, we do. I feel a little bit of moisture coming from the sky right now, so this is a good opportunity for Keilani to just feel this course out, see how it's developing, make sure it's not getting too slippery, because as the day goes on, these matchups are going to get tighter and tighter for her. Laura Goldsworthy doing a great job there through the rhythm. Not quite going to be enough with that #1 qualifier. Keilani is not an easy person to beat, that is for sure.
Keilani clean into the round of 4 now, knocking out Laura Goldsworthy. Got to give her credit, though. 8th place qualifier, made it into the round of 8. Knows exactly where she stands. So it's a smart way to handle this right here for Keilani. Just a smooth show run.
Yeah, got that start. You could see the aggression right out of the gate and around those first couple turns, and then just kind of decided to chill. You can tell what she needed to do, and I think that's really where she's going to get that advantage on these runs, is really seeing how this course is developing and being able to identify the areas where she can push it and where she can't.
Push it real good?
Push it.
So Goldsworthy knows exactly what she's got to brush up on for the next time she shows up for Crankworx Dual Slalom, as Keilani focuses her attention on the next step on her quest for that gold medal here today. All right, Maggie Voicey, Cassie Voicey loaded up into the gate. If you're wondering what she's running for her tires, well, wonder no longer. Here we have it.
Yeah, we got a dissector, and we also have an S-guy, but the thing to notice more than you would probably not think is the pressure. She's running 40 PSI front and rear. That's going to be for speed. When you're pushing into the backsides of these jumps and railing these turns, the harder your tires are, the less traction, but the more momentum. So it's really a fine line that they're going to be riding here.
So who will join Keelani Hines in the round of 4? Will it be Shania Rawson or Cassie Voicey? Really even matchup here. Shania does have a second advantage though, 4th and 5th qualifiers.
These riders making it through the rhythm section, back into the lower turns. Seeing the different styles there, jumping and manualing. That flag did flip up. I'm not sure if she made it around it. We'll let the line judges make that decision. Riders going back and forth all the way down. Only a .216 in the finish. I think the lead swapped like 3 or 4 times in that race. That was exciting.
We could just watch them race for the rest of the day. It's such a tight matchup. That's what Dual Slalom's all about. Shania Rawson adding to an already successful week out here. She rolls into the round of 4. She'll go up against Keelani Hines. Shania with 2 podiums already.
See Richard King in the comments. Oh yeah, you see right there, she did miss that gate. Unfortunately, Cassie going right over that one. You saw Richard King in the comments there.
Wow.
He wants the King's shirt.
Ooh, I don't know how they choose it, but if it were up to me, I'd give it to Richie.
See what happened here. Coming down to the bottom. Yeah, she had already gone over that gate, so that's going to be a 1.5 advantage. After that DQ on the black does come through officially. But it's not over. We've seen comebacks. We've seen crazier things. Keeping your head in the game and really looking forward to the next race and trying to stay calm and know what you have to do. I've heard that white lane might be a slight bit faster, so you just got to stay positive and make it happen.
Shania, things rolling pretty good for you so far this week. A bronze and a silver already, and now you made your way into the round of 4 here in slalom. What have you been up to in the off season to come out swinging so strong here at stop number 1?
Yeah, off season's been pretty good actually. My main focus on this year has pretty much been just having fun on my bike again. So I've been riding a lot more than I normally would. Yeah, really enjoying it. Stoked to be out here with the girls and yeah, having fun.
Well, it looks like you're having fun collecting all those points. Are we going to see you at a few more of these stops this season?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to try and get to all of them this year and try and chase that queen title.
Shania, congratulations moving into the next round. Fun works. Keep having fun.
Thank you.
I always love to hear that. Hey, things are really working. What's your strategy right now? Oh, well, I'm trying to have fun. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it is.
That's the whole point of throwing a leg over a bike in the first place.
Absolutely. If it's not fun, why are you doing it?
So Jordy Scott's been having fun already. She got a silver medal last night. She's the number 3 qualifier. She has a 1.5 max differential over Hoppin. She just needs a smooth run here.
Yeah, another opportunity for Jordy here just to see how the track's developing. You know she's going to meet some faster riders coming right around the corner. But you can't let up too much. Every time you start taking it easy, that's when things happen. So you got to stay on point and just ride that fine balance. These lower bottom turns are starting to run in quite nicely. It's just about getting that entry speed proper and that angle, making sure you hit the apexes. Jordy making it happen right there in this round of 4. Moving on.
Nice work. Good job. We can high five them. Nice work.
So good to see Jordy back after that really heavy shoulder AC separation from 2 years ago.
Yep.
To see her show back up to Rotorua where that actual injury took place and be so strong last night in that same discipline as when she sustained that injury in speed and style last night and grab a silver medal. She is fully back, and she worked so hard to get to where she is right now.
It's great to see her out here performing, seeing her healthy in that same spot where that unfortunate crash happened a couple years ago. But it looks way behind her. She's looking really, really strong, moving her way through the brackets.
We got some vibey tunes going on right now, Alan.
Yeah, I'm feeling wavy. I don't know about you.
New season, new background music. I dig it. So, Jordy Scott into the semifinals. Who's going to join up with her in that bracket? Will it be Martha Gill? Martha with a bronze yesterday in speed and style, a 5th in the Tawny downhill, and a 1st in the air DH. Looking to make it to the semifinals here in slalom. She's got a 1.5 advantage over Lynette Deacon.
Yeah, solid gait out of Martha. You can tell there's been a lot of practice in this offseason working those gates. So the gate can make or break you. Absolutely. So she's got all the pieces to the puzzle here coming into this season. Really looking smooth. Our 2nd place qualifier today. You know she's not going to be settled for anything but another win here.
Boom!
Oh, Lynette saving it right there.
Jordy Scott. It's going to be an epic semifinal.
We saw Martha in 2nd place, I believe, last year, and then here repeating it as the qualifier. You know she's going to want to take home this win.
Martha Gill. Look out for Martha Gill in 2024. When she's got some bright colors and the future looks bright for her results and her quest to the Queen of Crankworx title. It's gonna be Jordy and Martha, Keelani and Shania. We got some real superheroes taking shape of this season already.
This is where we're gonna start seeing the fastest times of the day drop probably every single run down this course.
Martha, a 1st, a 5th, and a 3rd. This is a pretty young season right now, but it's already been pretty fruitful for you. We just asked Shania the same question. What was the off season like, and how are things going so far for you?
Honestly, spent a good few months in the UK this off season and just rode my road bike and went to the gym. And then I got here to New Zealand like a month before this event and just tried to smash out as much jumping and making the most of the summer and the sun.
It's working. I think your plan is absolutely panning out. Congratulations making it into the semifinals. Looks like you're going to be going up against Jordy, so congrats.
Thank you.
Soaking up this replay right now. Martha Gill cruising through this dual slalom course on our big screen now, and that's how she earned her way into the semifinals. Like we just mentioned, she'll be going up against Jordy Scott. But we got #1 qualifier Keelani Hines facing off against Shania Ross in the #4 qualifier. So how do you like that right there? Now round of 4, we got the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th qualifiers.
That means we're in for some good racing. That's all that means.
Well, what do we have for the men's bracket? Let's check that out. We got everybody having a blast down in the event venue. We got live music playing all day down there, local bands setting the mood. And here's a look at who has a chance of making it into this semifinals round of 4 for the men. We got Fru with the advantage. Tight one though, 0.4 over Nishkin. Penny, good size advantage over Blankensop. Another tight one there between the 2 riders who already have gold medals this week, Garrett Meacham and Lockie Stevens-McNabb. So Jackson Frew, so many big results, especially in this discipline of dual slalom in the past couple seasons. Making it into the finals is no easy task. We asked him about it.
Well, I come from a background of riding a lot of different bikes, and then I kind of focused on downhill for a long time, but I always had the joy of like my hardtail and riding dual slalom and, you know, my trail bike and all that sort of stuff. So when I decided that Crankworx was where I wanted to go, I kind of got to ride all those bikes and all those different events in one place in 1 week with a bunch of people that I really like to hang out with, and I get to watch some incredible stuff go down every week. So it's really cool.
I mean, we get to watch you doing incredible stuff every week. And it's pretty incredible anytime you see a #1 next to your name. Jackson Frew is the man to beat here in today's specialized dual slalom. But Parker Nishkian is going to do his best to do just that and beat him. He's only got 0.4 to make up.
Yeah, this is going to be a tight one. We saw Parker coming down a little overcooked in the flat turns. Let's see what he can do. Jackson looking really solid here, doing exactly what he needs to do, keeping Parker in his peripheral, not overriding the situation, just getting down the hill, keeping it smooth. He knows he's got that advantage. Moving on. Nice showing out of Parker, though. First time we've seen him here in the live feed.
Good job, dude. Good fun, brother. Congrats.
That is true. I mean, great work there for Parker Nishkian, taking that 25th qualifying spot all the way into the round of 8 and getting knocked out by the guy who's the #1 qualifier. I mean, can't be too bummed about that.
Yeah, Parker just became Frew's #1 fan, because there's nothing better than getting eliminated by the guy who wins.
You're always rooting for the person who knocks you out, right? Come on, it's going to make my story better. So Jackson Frew secures himself a spot into the semifinals, aka the round of 4. Jackson took the slalom win in Whistler. He took the win here last year. He would love to make it 2 in a row here in Rotorua. He had a 4th in Cairns. This slalom discipline is definitely one that he's going to try to use to his advantage in his quest for that King of Crankworx title. But who's going to make it out of this next matchup, man? I can't wait to see who's going up against Frew.
Yeah, they're getting tighter and tighter. This is going to be a good matchup right here.
Thank you.
Blanky's a veteran. He knows this. He knows his stuff. What is he choosing for his tires here for dual slalom?
Ask the guy in the front and aggressor in the rear.
With secret PSI.
Secret PSI. That's not anything that you need to know.
I'll let you squeeze it, but I'm not giving you any numbers.
Okay, where Blanky really stands out to me is out of the gate and out of the turns. The power that he can put down is enough to make up this 1.125. If Tuhoto can keep it clean, it's going to be hard. This is going to be a good race right here.
Let's see what happens.
Both riders out of the gate, solid. You can see Blanky pumping everything he has. He's got bigger wheels. Looks like 29-inch wheels there, so he's going to have a little more traction coming into this. But Tuhoto is not going to give it to him. And here comes Blanky side by side. Oh my gosh, through those turns. Did you see that?
No way.
That was absolutely
so
loose.
Sick. Not enough, but man, was that a treat to watch.
Blanky's
Sam Blankenship, man, just pulling out the stops.
That first right in those flat turns, both tires sliding. Somehow Blanky able to keep the thing pointed in the right direction all the way down to the bottom, but unfortunately Tuhoto was just too fast. Looking pretty good right here. And this is where they started pulling side by side, and coming into these flat turns after this next turn is where you're going to see Blanky. Watch Blanky's entrance into these flat turns right here. We come over this tabletop, couple more rollers in this section right here. Look at that. So leaned over, just sliding around perfectly. Giving a little ratitude at the finish line.
So Hoto, what's it like having just a panicked and revved out Sam Blankenship just inches away from you on that dual slalom track?
I feel like every time we get into quarters, it's me and Blinky. And it's always fun because it's like straight into like probably like the fastest race we do all day almost. And we're just yelling at each other, and it's, yeah, crack up.
Well, good job, man. That was a crazy head-to-head race. You're going up against Jackson through the #1 qualifier in the next matchup. Good luck.
Cheers, brother. Thank you.
So, heating things up every step of the way here on the first stop of the 2024 season. We've had a lot of action already. Last weekend, the Tawny fought downhill. We had the whip off, the air DH. Last night's speed and style. Let's take a look back at some of the highlights so far.
Yeah, the downhill track really shaped up. Was probably one of the better racetracks that we've had here. It was unbelievable seeing Richie Root out there riding. Always a pleasure to see him on the downhill bike.
Best jump on the course right there.
Big jumps, big crowds, bigger energy. It was such a good time out in the Redwood Forest.
You love the trees.
Yeah, I unfortunately had a little collision with one, but you know, we're here now, so it's all good.
What a show out there. We saw, you know, Lockie Stevens-McNabb take the win for the men. He's out there in our field in dual slalom right now. And then the air DH 2 nights ago.
Yeah, the air DH is basically a race down a flow trail, so these riders are going to be pedaling and pumping for everything they have. One of the scariest things is usually you're going about 3 times faster than you need to be going for the size of all the jumps.
Not designed to be raced. That's what makes it so much fun. And then, I mean, just a few hours ago, it feels like, the speed and style event, we saw the returning champ, Mike Ross, go down in an earlier round, not able to defend his title. But Garrett Meacham, Caroline Buchanan, all the consistency and the big tricks to grab gold medals. Tohoto giving Garrett Meacham a run for his money, and then coming right back for more. Both of those guys trying to make it happen here in the specialized dual slalom.
It's a big weekend, yeah. It all adds up for these specialists that are doing multiple events. A lot of energy getting spent out here on the hill. So next up, we have Garrett Meacham and Lockie Stevens-McNabb, only a .127 advantage to Garrett. That's nothing.
Riders ready, watch the gate.
Solid gate. I'll give the whole shot to Lockie right there. So Garrett's going to need to keep him in his sights. He knows he's got a slight advantage, but he cannot let him get away because it is not a big advantage.
.127 is nothing.
Lockie looking pretty good right here. He might have this covered, but here they come. Rojo's catching up around these flat turns. We saw him pedaling through them last time.
I think he's going to have it. I think Lockie's going to get him. He does. So Lockie Stevens-McNabb, the gold medalist from the Tawny fought downhill last weekend, just knocking out the gold medalist from last night's speed and style, Garrett Meacham. Lockie advancing into the round of 4 and also posting the second fastest time of the day.
So the biggest difference in this round I saw is their bikes. You look at Garrett Meacham's bike, more of a slope style type bike. That same bike he rode in the speed and style event last night. A little better for tricks and stuff. But you see Lockie's bike, a little bit bigger wheels, a little bit bigger tires. That's going to add up to more traction. I think that's what's getting him around these turns a little bit faster than Garrett this time.
You can notice Lockie a little bit more sluggish in these rhythm sections here. Garrett's able to pump more speed, like right there. But in those flat corners, that extra
that extra traction, yeah, the softer suspension, the bigger knobbies, maybe a little bit less tire pressure. Look at that, just absolutely clean coming through the ruts there in the flat turns. Yeah, jumping into it, getting pedals out of it. That is exactly what you need to be doing right there. Lockie is going to be a very hard man to beat going forward in today's racing.
Sweet, thank you.
Tomorrow's forecast is good.
Taking it back up to the top of the hill, we have the 2 Canadians, Jacob Jewett and Tegan Cruz, our number 2 and number 10 qualifiers, only .8, so Tegan really pushed Jacob in that first round. Let's see what happens here. Both riders get out super clean. Tegan with a slight advantage out of the gate. We see that green bar there, that's the whole shot. And here comes Jacob. Both riders looking really smooth through the rhythm section, and they're side by side coming down to these flat turns. It's so hard not to overcook it when you can see your competitor. .105 difference there.
Oh man, that was so tight. After both runs, just .75 separating these two young Canadians. Jacob Jewett backing up the promise made by posting that second place qualifying time. He moves in to the round of 4.
Yeah, he really turned on the gas from about this point on to the bottom, and really getting those bottom flat turns, probably the most technical part of this track, down on lock before moving ahead. So, man, he's going to be difficult to beat as well. These races are going to get so tight and so fast.
Oh, I'm looking at how our matchups are shaping up. These semifinals are going to be insane. Hey there, Jacob. Good stuff, man. I see you coming out swinging right now. A second in the Taniwha, third in the Air DH. Second place qualifying result in this event right now, and you're backing that up into the semifinals. How are things feeling for you?
Yeah, can't complain. Going pretty good. Yeah, just having fun out here at Crankworx.
So you're kind of a part of this new wave of really fast youngsters coming out. You're going up against Lockie in this next matchup. What's your strategy going to be?
Yeah, I mean, this track's quite tricky. It's quite fast, but it's pretty easy to miss a gate. So trying to go fast, but stay precise, and yeah, don't miss any gates.
It's fun to watch. Keep doing what you're doing. Good luck.
Thank you.
So I hinted at the fact that I'm getting really excited as I peek at these round of 4 brackets here. I gotta let you in on what we got shaping up. This is gonna be pretty darn good. Jackson Frew going up against Tuhoto Ariki Pene. Lackey Stevens McNabb going up against Jacob Jewett. Here's the outlier right here. We saw in the women's round of 4, it's set. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4 qualifiers. Here we have the 1, 2, 5, and 14 qualifiers. So Stevens McNabb really with the opportunity to upset the field out there and be the David to some of these Goliaths.
Yeah, he's definitely on an upward trajectory. His times have been dropping all day long. So it's going to be interesting to see how he can keep his composure as he moves on through the rounds.
So for the last 10 years, we have been enjoying this great dirt. We call it hero dirt here in Rotorua. And to me, it's always been a mystery. Why do we have such great dirt here? Some of the best dirt in the world. Recently, we heard the story of why. Take a look. Mount Ngongotahā has a lot to do with this amazing dirt.
Ka pū te ruha, ka hao te rangatahi.
On the 10th of June, 1886, 2 geothermal systems collided, starting from Mount Ngongotahā. When they collided with the geothermal system in Rotorua, it caused a huge blowout, and the mud went into the air and came down hours later and covered our city, the pink and white terrace of Rotorua, and the surrounds, sometimes up to 10 metres of what we call Rotorua mud, which has now become like a sandy, loamy soil. And so that we have really perfect soils for our mountain bike tracks in the Whakarewarewa area.
The dirt here is just something like you've never seen. It feels like you're riding in like marshmallows almost. It's so special.
On the back of that now we have a thriving mountain biking community. And of course it's led directly to the hosting of Crankworx.
Rotorua can provide such good racing. To have it here and in the forest is insane.
It's really a positive coming out of a negative.
There's positives in everything, just like the volcano, you know. Rotorua's brought so many mountain bikers into this place because of its dirt, and that may have never happened, so it's really special.
I mean, it kind of all makes sense now. It's been such a mystery. We love this dirt, especially when it gets a little wet. It can handle water. I don't know if you can tell, but it's getting a little wet right now, which is going to spice up our action in dual slalom, isn't it?
It absolutely is. These riders are going faster and faster, and now they're going to have less and less traction. So it's going to be exciting to see who can maintain that. I think the veterans are going to have a little bit of an advantage now. Being able to change your mindset for these changing conditions, you know, it's not something you just are born with.
And we're not born with umbrellas in our hands, so I hope the crowd who's lining the dual slalom course that we're peeking at right now is ready for this rain, but I know everybody in the festival venue is having a blast all week down there. They got tents, they can cover up in the tents. We got plenty of stuff to do down there. Great food trucks. Talk about the food trucks. Man, I love that. Burrito Shack.
Yeah, definitely. The festival village will be going off rain or shine. You know, people are pretty tough here in New Zealand. They're not made of sugar. They're not going to melt.
A look at our women's semifinals bracket right now. And as we'd mentioned, first through 4 qualifiers all making it into the final 4. So this is the cream of the crop right now in the women's field.
I mean, yeah, I think history would tell us that, but you know, it's raining now. So I think all bets are off. It's every run, anything can happen, and these riders need to stay focused because whatever happened in qualifying doesn't matter anymore. It's a different track.
Hey, they got their umbrellas. These must be some locals right here. They know that anything can happen. We've seen, I mean, it's almost like tradition right now to cover the slopestyle course in tarps and have these rain delays as we wait for our top slopestyle athletes to take to the course. We've been doing it for the last 10 years, but in dual slalom, something exciting is that nothing stops the race. This is just going to make it that much more interesting for us, the fans, as we take a look at the top of the course right now. We've got our women loaded up into the gate. Keilani Hines and Shania Rawson. But take it back a year ago. Remind ourselves who won this dual slalom race here in Rotorua. We had Martha Gill and Harriet Burbage-Smith in the gold medal matchup.
Yeah, Harriet was so stoked to come away with this win. I remember she was one of the top qualifiers and really fought all the way through. And Martha, look at that little mistake there. Missed a gate. But had crashed, but she stayed in the gates and it ended up being a win.
Good stuff. I mean, what's the story going to be today? Whatever the story is, I'm sure this rainfall from the sky is going to play into it, and it's going to be that much more exciting. Flat corners in the mud. Let's go.
Yeah, I would recommend lowering some of those PSIs a little bit. Let's make, instead of 40, maybe 30 PSI, a little extra traction.
Yeah, so I was mentioning how it's almost a tradition to roll the tarps onto the slopestyle course. Well, whenever the conditions are right on Sunday, we're going to pull those tarps off, and it's going to be all about the Crankworx FMBA Slopestyle World Championship. As per tradition, we start here in Rotorua. But a new addition to the event this year, the women's category, a historical event. Look at all the other sports where the women are at such insane levels in these freestyle sports. The future starts now for the women's field, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm really, really excited. And kudos to Crankworx for really offering that platform for these women to elevate their games.
Here we go. The rain has been falling and they're loaded up in the gate. This is going to be an interesting lap here between Shania Rawson and Keilani Hines. Keilani, your #1 qualifier.
#1 qualifier against Shania. We were talking to her and she was talking about how much fun she was having. You know what one of the most fun things to do on a bike is get the hole shot, and she just did that. Leading Keilani down the course right now. Keilani drawing up right side by side. She does not want to go into the second round with a disadvantage. So she's going to push all the way to the finish, but needs to stay aware that the track could be slippery. This is the first run since it started raining.
Oh, yeah.
See a little bit of those front tires pushing.
Tight matchup there, though, but Shania with the advantage. It's a .35 over Keilani Hines. And you can tell both of them coming into those flat corners going, all right, what is this going to be like? This is a race, but it's kind of a practice run. You're really stepping on thin ice trying to figure out how much weight you can put on it before it cracks and you're swimming.
Yeah, it looked like Shania went in there with a little bit more aggression. You know, maybe she was rolling the dice a little bit harder, and it paid off for her in this round. Looking really good through there, and then these flat turns at the bottom, they were starting to get quite a few nice ruts in them, but now that the rain is dropping, those ruts are going to be slippery. Watch some front tires here. I think I saw Keilani, yeah, see those front tires pushing wide out of the turns? A little bit of understeer, which makes the turns tighten up. So if you're a little late on the first one, by the time you get to the bottom one, you're even, it compounds every time, multiplies by double.
You ever play dominoes?
Yeah.
Chain reaction. Look at all these subscribers we're racking up. Way to go. I mean, if you want to watch all the action of the 2024 Crankworx World Tour, subscribe to the Red Bull Bike YouTube channel. I mean, we'll have all kinds of stuff on there. We'll have Red Bull Rampage in October. Why not? Hit that subscribe button. Ooh, Jordy Scott and Martha Gill, the #2 and 3 qualifiers, loaded into the gate. They're run #1 of this semifinal matchup.
Solid start out of both riders, nearly identical. Looks like Jordy gets a little bit of an advantage. And then just like that, Martha pulls side by side, gapping, manualing, riders taking different, look at the shiny bits. When that turn is shiny, you know it's gonna be slippery. Martha able to stay in the lead so far. Riders coming down through these flat turns, keeping the pedals down. Jordy, you can see, playing a little bit of catch up. 1.070 advantage to Martha Gill.
Greasy in the berms.
Greasy in the berms, absolutely.
It's funny, the first thing I think about when it starts raining is the flat corners, but such a good point. When you get those hard packed berms and they get slick, it is insanely hard to keep that train on the tracks.
Yeah, those little shiny bits you're seeing on the course, what that is an area where it's so packed that the water is not actually absorbing into it, sitting on top. So when you go through that section, you're actually sliding across the water.
It's raining. Yeah, you can tell.
They're just letting everybody know, hey, it's raining. And a look at our final four for the men. My eye just goes straight to Stevens McNabb, and I love an underdog story. That's going to be a fun matchup there between Stevens McNabb, the number 14 qualifier, and Jacob Jewett, the number 2 qualifier.
Yeah, it's interesting. The first heat right here, what we see, both riders with a bit more of a slope style type of bike.
Well, Jackson Frew just needs to get through this round to make it into the finals, a place where he's got some experience. We talked to him about making it into that gold medal matchup. Here's what he had to say.
Oh yeah, like to make a final in a Crankworx Dual Slalom now is fair play. That's impressive to do for anybody, let alone for me to do it. Like it's there's no love lost in any of these races.
Well, that sets the stage for this right now. Tuhoto Ariki Pene, the number 5 qualifier, looking to knock out the number 1 qualifier, Jackson Frew.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
Snap out of the gate. Both riders extremely aggressive. Tuhoto with a little bit of an advantage, getting that whole shot. Look at how many pedals Jackson's getting in. He knows he's behind right now. He needs to push all the way, but not too hard. Track is getting more and more diabolical and slippery. Jumps into those flat turns and makes up a whole bike length coming into the finish. That was impressive.
No way.
Yeah, boy.
He turned about a 1 second disadvantage into a 0.1 second disadvantage in the last section.
Well, this is going to be a fun replay to take a look at, especially at the bottom.
Yeah, definitely. Tuhoto definitely had the advantage most of the way down the track and all the way to the finish line. Oh, there's the little mess up there. Had to unclip, put his foot down. And Jackson saw that and pounced straight on him. Just so careful through those turns. I cannot explain how far, like how close to the line they are on that. The edge of traction around every turn.
So a 0.135 advantage.
Yeah, was yours slipping?
In favor of
It was a
Tuhoto.
bit scary. Yeah, mine was slipping. Thank you.
Tuhoto has the advantage moving into their second run in that semifinal matchup. Now we have Lachie Stevens McNabb, the number 14 qualifier, going up against number 2 qualifier, Jacob Jewett.
Random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
Both these riders on more of a short travel trail bike style, so bikes are going to be even. Steven coming down this, looking really, really close here. And this is where Jacob's going to turn it on. Lachie keeping him honest, side by side, almost nothing between these two riders. Oh, and there we go.
Down.
The first mistake.
Look how dialed Jacob is, though. He like hears it, he knows it, and cruises through the finish. In the past, we've seen riders not realize that their competitor has fallen down and they're still pushing. So Lachie is going to have the full maximum differential to make up a 1.5 once we get them back up to the top of the course and switched sides.
Yeah, I didn't quite see what happened. I think maybe he lost some front end traction
We're gonna
right
see
there.
it. Yeah.
Oh, it looks like maybe his pedal clipped the pole there and maybe just unweighted his front end when he did not need that to happen. Let's see here, we're gonna get another look. Watch that right pedal in the gate. Clips the gate with his leg, and it just sends that front tire. Even that little bit, that's how close they are on the line. The little unweighting of hitting that plastic pole was enough to take the traction off his front tire and push.
So Lackey with the 1.5 to make up. Now we bring things back up to the top. Keilani Hines, Shania Rawson. Rawson with the advantage
GB is ready.
over our #1 qualifier in the women's field, Keilani Hines. But it's a tight one, 0.35 to play for.
Random start.
Yeah, not much in it between these two riders, almost even. Keilani definitely is going to want to protect her position, that #1 qualifier. She knows she has the speed. This track is not the same track that it was when they did qualifying, so we'll see how Shania can do down here at the bottom and really push Keilani into making a mistake. That's going to be her go-to right now. Easier said than done. Keilani keeping it extremely tidy, coming down to the finish line. Covering that difference from round 1.
Well played there. Keeping focused on the task at hand there. Keilani Hines, #1 qualifier, moving into the gold medal matchup. Keilani Hines looking to be on fire to start this season. Keilani, great to see you out here, stop #1 of this new season. We're trying to remember last year, did you come out to Rotorua?
Yes, I did. I did come out. It was a lot drier, and I didn't have great luck in slalom, but I think 22 I missed, so.
Well, you're looking like you're on point. How's your off season been?
It's been good. Raining a lot in California, but I guess we can't complain because usually it's not. And just a lot of changes going into this year, losing a sponsor and then kind of being indecisive if I was going to do Crankworx. So we're going to see how the weekend ends and then see if I want to do the whole series.
Well, that's great to hear. The rainy California training is definitely going to come into play for the rest of the event here today. So #1 qualifier, good luck moving forward.
Thank you, Kim.
Yeah, the rain continues to fall out here right now. The tarp's going on the slopestyle course and the action heating up on the dual slalom. Martha Gill with just over a second advantage here ahead of Jordy Scott. Can Jordy do what it takes to come back?
Our #2 and 3 qualifiers, Jordy with the whole shot right out of the gate. You can see that little green bar notifying who's got the fastest start. Oh, Martha getting a little off rhythm, so she's gonna have to play catch up right here, coming down the hill. This is such a fine line. You have to ride aggressive, you have to ride hard, but it's so easy to override it in these conditions. Look at Jordy, double tire drifting and pedaling around those turns. Unbelievable control out of Jordy Scott down to the finish.
It looked like Jordy, she looked like a dirt bike, like throttling through, sliding and roosting. I swear she sprinted that whole section through those flat gates.
When in doubt, throttle it out. Yeah, that was impressive.
Without clipping pedals or anything, that was so rad. So fastest times of the day we see right there, Keilani is going the fastest. She's backing up that #1 qualifying position. But look at this. This replay is going to be really fun to watch here from Jordy Scott.
Yeah, you can see Jordy locking up into those turns, losing a little bit of traction. It's getting wet. Down to the bottom is really when she started to pour on the power and start riding that line and just really showed how much skill she has with that bike. Drifting through the turns, pedaling, this is it. Look at this. just pumping through, swapping over the roller. Look at the back tire, just sliding as she's pedaling. If she didn't pedal, she would have slid out.
Oh
that was
my.
Unbelievable control.
She completely took the technique of how to get yourself out of trouble on a dirt bike and applied it to a mountain bike. There we go, our medal rounds. We've got our riders filled into those brackets. It's gonna be number 1 and number 2 duking it out for the gold, Keilani Hines and Martha Gill. And then number 3 and number 4 battling it out for the bronze, Jordy Scott and Shania Rawson.
The riders hopping in the rig back up to the top of the hill. That's one of the blessings of getting to the further rounds is they give you a ride up the hill. I know in the earlier rounds you have to walk. Extra tired.
That's a treat. Look at this shuttle rig we got going too. All right. Tohoto, the local boy, the king, with the advantage of .135 over the number 1 qualifier, Jackson Frew. This is so tight.
This is one of those situations where sometimes it's the cleanest run, the one that takes it, but they're gonna be pushing hard. You know, Jackson knows exactly what he needs to do. Little mistake there with his feet, but able to recover nicely, keeping both riders side by side. They know exactly what they need to do. This is where Jackson's gonna have to put it on. Tohoto losing control. Did he stay within the gates? Both feet were off. Jackson pushing through.
Hey, if he did not miss a gate, then Tohoto is very much within grasp there. Oh yeah, okay, Jackson gets it.
I unclipped in the tight berm. Yeah, you should have seen me, bro. I was like this the whole way. Those bottom turns are like unrideable. They're fucked now.
You gotta love it when the commentary at the bottom is just a series of stories of survival. It's been 22 seconds, 23 seconds, but you know, they almost died 3 times.
Exactly, so much to pack into just 23 seconds of living.
See if we can see where Jackson was talking about. He said in the tight turn, he came unclipped. Not sure which turn that was. He was looking unbelievably fast.
Hopefully we can see what happens to Tohoto right here too. Oh, another instance of clipping that gate.
But able to somehow stay in between. How did he stay
I saw you blind
on the track?
He was 12 or 13 years old when we first brought Crankworx here. He was a little bit past the Strider bike age back then, but I think he started on a Strider because he implemented some of those Strider skills to keep it in the right side of those gates there with no feet on the pedals. Look at the Strider race. Come on, kick Tohoto.
Just love those shots where they're on the horsepower pedaling and the rear wheels are sliding and drifting around the turn. So motocross. That was an unbelievable save from both riders in the exact same moment.
Look at that. I mean, the difference between the track at the beginning of the race compared to right now. This is going to be a great show right here. So, Jackson, when the rain falls, the tough get going, and it's anybody's game. You're the number 1 qualifier out there today. How do you feel when the rain starts falling? Is this something that you've got a lot of experience with, or are you just winging it right now?
Completely winging it. I would be lying if I said I had any idea what I was doing. It's spraying and praying is the name of the day, I think.
Yeah, you're doing a good job out there. Talk to me about those flat turns. In the early stages, it looked like that rut was holding. And now, what is it like going through those turns? Seeing you guys pedal and drift is pretty unbelievable.
Well, I think it's almost going to have to be getting out of the ruts because it had a bit of a wet the other day and then dried up and then got hard pack from all the riders on it. So the ledge that we're trying to chase is actually slick and hard pack, like blue groove that you would call. So it's almost like riding a bike park in the rain when you've got no traction at all.
It's a high wire act, and we've got the best seats in the house. Thanks for putting on a show. Best of luck moving into that gold medal matchup.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, experience is going to pay today with these challenging conditions. Hearing Jackson talk about staying out of the groove. It's not what you'd normally do, but knowing when to do that, you just got to figure that out, yeah.
When you got to stay out of the groove to stay in the groove. All right, Jacob Jewett owns the maximum differential of 1.5 over Lackey Stevens McNabb, but anything can happen with slick conditions.
Yeah, nothing to lose for Lockie right here. He's going to leave it all on the course. Let's see if he can get it down to the bottom. He's got that 1.5 he's got to make up, but Jacob, he is not going to let him too far out of his sights. Both riders need to be really careful not to override here. Jacob, our second fastest qualifier, looking good right now, keeping Lockie just right in front of him, both riders drifting.
Oh, man, good job for Jacob Jewett there, keeping the train on the tracks. That's a recipe right there. Yes. You have the 1.5 advantage, the rain has fallen, such a recipe for a little mistake, but Jacob Jewett looks like a veteran out there. He moves into the gold medal matchup against Jackson Frew.
Yeah, seeing Lockie come down through here, pumping, pulling, getting as much momentum he can off of every single backside. You knew it was going to be a tough one. Jacob is one fast rider. 1.5 seconds is not a lot, but it's a lifetime on a track like this.
Ooh, I kind of like this. Take a look. I mean, we got Frew and Jewett in the gold medal matchup, which is going to be fun. But then the bronze medal matchup, a couple Rotorua locals, Tuhoto and Laki. Crowd's going to get loud. I mean, the crowd is going nowhere despite all this rainfall. And I'm sure they're going to get loud for that bronze medal matchup. I'm a fan. I've never spoken with that kid, but I am a fan. Laki Stevens McNabb against Tuhoto Ariki Pene. Two Kiwis battling out for the bronze medal, and then the young Canadian Jacob Jewett will battle against the Australian Jackson Frew for that gold medal here in our specialized dual slalom Rotorua. So we mentioned it a handful of times here in this broadcast, but this is just merely stop number 1 of a 4-stop Crankworx World Tour. Let's talk a little bit about where we're going in the world. We kick things off floating on the beautiful island nation of New Zealand. And then we're all gonna go home for a little bit, but then we're just skip right over to Australia in May for the second stop. We're gonna be in Cairns, right alongside the Great Barrier Reef and the beautiful rainforest. And then the Alps. What a nice little balance. We got rainforest and reefs right into the big alpine peaks of Innsbruck, Austria. And then it only makes sense to bring this tour to cap the whole thing off back where the tour began 20 years ago in beautiful Whistler, British Columbia in July. Let's do this. It's going to be a great summer of mountain biking. This is only the beginning, but we've got a bronze medal matchup, run number 1 here, loaded into the gate. Shania Rawson versus Jordy Scott, run number 1.
Ready? Okay, riders, random start.
Number 4 and number 3 qualifiers earlier today. Both riders very, very even, solid on the gate starts. It's going to be a close race all the way to the bottom. This track's getting more and more wet, so more difficult as the day goes on. And they don't have an opportunity to practice in between, so they're learning the track as they're racing the track. Jordy pulling out a little bit of a lead over Shania. And here comes where the slippery parts. Ooh, oh yeah, braking in double tire drifting. Both feet on in there.
How did Jordy do that?
Unfortunately, Shania missing the gate there, had to run up and go around. She'll take that 1.5 maximum, but yeah, Jordy, man, how did she save that?
We're gonna get a highlight reel of Jordy's two-wheel drifts while pedaling that final straightaway.
This is one of those days that you finish and you're a better bike rider than when you started.
For sure.
Learning so much.
Wasn't that a quote from Garrett Meacham's interview yesterday? He was into some really challenging heats, and he happened to mention that, oh, I think I'm a better bike rider now because of that.
Yeah, and that's a testament to his mentality right now. You know, even adversity is an opportunity to learn and get better. And that's exactly what Jordy does right here, the adversity of the track. And just look at the skills she has to keep the bike going where she wants it to go.
Yeah, watch those eyes. Eyes up to where she wants to be, even if the bike is not facing that direction.
Yeah, not taking a foot off, instead pedaling to get that traction back and just keep momentum forward.
Yeah, it takes some experience to think, oh, I'm sliding out, I better start pedaling.
And the confidence, and you see Shania back there, fully drifted and caught traction just at the wrong time, and it spit her off to the right. not where she wanted to go. Gonna have that 1.5 advantage or disadvantage going into the next round.
Yeah, Jordy, way to go.
Yeah, you could see it in her face right there. She's on the edge, pushing it.
Oh, it was a wild ride.
Karen, have we got small finals
Jordy
there?
Scott will take that advantage over Shania Rawson. And now, excited to see run number 1 of this gold medal matchup here. It's going to be the gold medal matchup for the women, going to be Keelani Hines versus Martha Gill. Keelani, as we've been mentioning, the #1 qualifier out there today. Martha Gill, the #2 qualifier. Always like to see that. Whenever we see these brackets first thing in the morning, we take a look at who's at the top of the bracket, who's at the bottom. That's going to be your #1 and #2 qualifiers, the 2 fastest riders based on those results. And when you see them match up in the final, you know you're going to have a good show, especially if the skies open up and the water falls.
Yeah, as you were mentioning, Cam, props to these fans. Just hanging out, watching this head-to-head action. Oh, we got them racked up top.
There we go. Keelani Hines, Martha Gill, run #1. Oh, we got, yeah, there's men in this, I forget. We're so excited about the women being in the slopestyle. That's all we're talking about right now. We got the bronze medal matchup for the men. Tuhoto Ariki Pene. And then the wild card out there, Lockie Stevens McNabb, the 14th qualifier. Can he do it?
Yeah, this was your hot round you called out. These local boys are going to be pushing it, trying to get that last little bit of hardware they can. Tuhoto with the hole shot, but Lockie pulling out a little bit of a lead. Both riders sliding their way down this course like a couple of snakes. See if they can bring it home, pushing the limits. Tuhoto catching up just a little bit here. Oh, drifting all the way around. Both riders having to pull feet out. Lockie is going to get that .990 advantage.
Oh, man.
Man, who's got flat pedals in their bag?
I actually had a chance to interview Tuhoto earlier in the week, talking about coming into this season as the reigning king, and I asked him about the youngsters and just the new wave of talent coming out of Rotorua. Talking about Lockie, he said, man, they're cheeky buggers, all those youngsters. And I think you'd expect nothing less out of this area, right? You got that Kiwi vibe, just lighthearted, but so athletic, these riders out here. And it's no big surprise. You go ride in the woods out here and you see why world-class talent is just bubbling over some of the best trails on the planet. So Lockie taking that advantage over Tuhoto. We will get them back up to the top of the course to do it all over again. And now we have run #1 of our gold medal matchup for the women. Keelani Hines on the left side of your screen. Martha Gill on the right side of your screen. Keelani, fastest rider down the hill so far today. She's been the fastest all day, #1 qualifier. But Martha right behind her there. Who can take the advantage here in this gold medal matchup?
Yeah, both riders very, very similar on speed. #1 and #2 qualifiers. This is where we find out who's going to want it more. Looks like Keelani with a pole shot out of the gate. Martha Gill pulling a slight advantage. Here coming down to the rhythm section.
Whoa!
Oh, Keelani just scando flicking that bike around that flat turn. And they're going to tighten up here down to these flat turns. Martha holding on, looking very careful, sliding around those turns, doing exactly what she needs to do. Wow. Back on the pedals.
Martha puts the 1.5 on Keelani.
Whoa.
Those last corners just seem so slippery.
So's the left.
You hear them talking about the conditions. It's catching them a little bit off guard. It is so slippery out there, they're saying, but here we are looking at the playbacks here. Fairly clean from both riders. Martha Gill tripling there. Now was that nice scando out of Keelani, keeping it really, really strong.
I mean, the bike skills to be able to make that gate.
Yeah, Martha just had that extra aggression. I think maybe she's just rolling the dice a little bit harder into these conditions and making it work for her. Just tiptoeing through these bottom turns with that advantage. knowing overriding it is definitely something that can happen. Yeah, looking so calm and comfortable. But it ain't over yet.
Far from over. That second run is going to be really fun to watch as the rain continues to fall. All right, the moment we've been waiting for here, our second gold medal matchup, run number 1 of the day. This time for the men, Jackson Frew and Jacob Jewett. Jackson Frew, the number 1 qualifier.
Yeah, we were talking to Jackson earlier about how important it is and how hard it is to make these finals. Now it's time to convert. Let's see if he can do it. Gets the whole shot. Jackson looking really strong out of the gate, trying to put this exclamation point on today's slalom, but Jacob is not going to give it to him. The Canadian rider, our second fastest qualifier, really pushing down towards the bottom. Oh, and he swaps right there. That could be the mistake. Let's see what happens. Frew's starting to catch up a little bit. Jacob continues to swap. Here comes Jackson, but Frew keeping the power down. What a race.
I was like, I'll be safe. I'm just watching you like, all right.
Exactly. As if dual slalom can ever be boring. This is one way to spice up any slalom race, is do it in the mud. This is so much fun to watch.
Yeah, Frew with about a bike length instantly out of the gate. On that more slope style type bike, that bike is going to be a lot faster through the rhythm sections and in and out of the berms. But we see Jacob Jewett here on the short travel trail bike, losing traction just a little bit there, but able to make a recovery. Those bigger wheels, bigger tires is going to be a benefit today. But man, it wasn't easy. Look at that. Pushing off. I think that was a save. That was definitely a save. The whole run was a save.
Yeah. One save after another.
Look at feet out now around these turns. Look how offline he is, looking for traction, trying to get out of that shiny blue groove that we heard Jackson talking about earlier.
Turns out it rains a lot in Canada. What a sick move right there. He's sliding, sprinting toward the finish line, knows he has control. He's looking over his shoulder to see how big his advantage is going to be.
Yeah, it's a fun day out here on the course for these riders. Not easy, but look at those teeth. That only tells me one thing, fun.
So Jordy Scott, Shania Rawson, this bronze medal matchup. Both of these athletes with medals to their name already in this stop number 1 of the 2024 season.
Riders ready?
Who's going to take the bronze here? Jordy with the 1.5 advantage. Shania with some work to do. Can she find it?
Yeah, in the previous run, Jordy was unbelievably strong and pushed Shania to a mistake. So can Shania rebound and do the same, push Jordy to a mistake? That's what she's going to need. Jordy doing exactly what she needs, just keeping her rider right next to her, really close on that gate. We'll have to see what they say. Shania sliding, double tire drifting in and out of the turns. These riders just slithering their way down, holding on for dear life. Oh, front end rear tire. Oh, and then she misses the gate right there. She knows it.
Oh, that's it.
But did Jordy get around that gate up top?
I think she did.
That is the question.
We'll take a look back, but right now, unofficial, Jordy Scott grabbing that bronze medal.
Indicating her tires were able to stay on the inside of the course. It's okay if the pedals hit. It's okay if you hit that gate. You just have to keep the base of your tires on the outside of the course. Shania was pushing it all the way to the bottom, riding unbelievably well considering these conditions.
Oh, is that the one you were wondering about?
That was the one, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
she was
she's
right
clean.
there.
I love watching that, you know, maybe not on purpose, but being forced to dive inside on that berm and watching that back tire slide out and hook at the top of that berm. So Jordy Scott grabbing another medal. A silver last night in speed and style, a bronze here right now, moments ago, earning that medal here in the specialized dual slalom.
Watching these riders come down, this is where things were getting really slippery. Cutting those turns as tight as they possibly can. Every thousandth of a second is taken into account here. And look at that front tire, both sliding all around, foot down, point it, get around the gate. Everything that she can, just not enough.
She is sprinting and roosting yet again.
Yeah, you can see the sentiment there. Whoo, made it.
You. P-H-E-W. Congrats there to Jordy Scott grabbing that bronze medal. Who's gonna take that bronze medal for the men? We're gonna know. We're gonna know in like, I wanna say like less than a minute. They look ready to drop here. Tohoto, Ariki Pene, and Lackey Stevens McNabb, 2 Rotorua locals.
You be ready.
Expect that soaking wet crowd to get loud. The advantage is 0.9, just under a second, and it belongs to Lockie Stevens McNabb.
Interesting, I see Lockie lining up on the far outside of the gate, so maybe looking for more traction with that gate getting muddy. Wasn't enough though, Tuhoto with that hole shot.
Oh no!
Looked like Lockie was a little wide there. Not sure, it looks like he shut it down, so yeah, he's just having a good time now. Oh no! It's not over.
Yeah, I mean, Tohoto might not realize, but Lockie has already missed a gate, so all Tohoto needs to do is just stay within those gates and cross the finish line. Tohoto will take the bronze.
I missed the gate up the top. Oh, I seen you jump next to me, eh? I had a mean crash too.
Here it is, we're gonna get a look. We didn't actually see him miss the gate. We could just tell that the line he was on, there's no way he was gonna make the gate.
Yeah, so much speed out of here. It looked like he hooked that rut just a little bit in case that jumped.
Yeah.
And just wasn't quite lined up where he needed to be. That's the thing, if you're late on one turn, you're gonna be chasing that the rest of the way down the course. See what happened to Tuhoto here.
Lockie goes down again. Tohoto, not realizing all he's got to do is just cruise. But he took a look back up the hill as soon as he started to get his bike back up. Went, all right, cool, I'm good.
Yeah, more of a trip. Started to slide out, put his foot, kind of got tripped up by the gate there.
I mean, we're going to get to see some gold medal matchups in the craziest conditions ever. I'm sure we're going to be thinking back to this race once we're at the end of the season, because these points right here in this mud race, this is how you win a championship.
Yeah, the course being wet is one thing, but every time a rider goes through, it gets more slippery. The tires just flatten the dirt, they smear the mud, and it gets more and more slippery every time a tire track goes through. Little course maintenance here, making sure we have the gates up.
Let's give them some credit. They do a great job. I mean, we're seeing these riders smash the gates, knock the flags off the poles every single run, and then magically they're put back up when we get our next riders in the gate. Get to peek behind the curtain here, see the crew that's actually doing it.
Yeah, definitely a full-time job keeping those flags up and on the course.
Especially when it's this hard to keep the bikes within these flags. Well, our gold medal matchup loaded into the gate right now. Let's reminisce over run number 1 and remind ourselves of the advantage.
Yeah, Martha Gill in the position of the upset right now. Our second place qualifier going against Keelan, our number 1 qualifier here in the final round. Martha was able to keep it on 2 wheels and get that advantage. We heard both riders talking about the courses at the bottom and how diabolically slippery it is. So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe there's a disadvantage on the white course that we're not aware of. So it's not over yet. It's definitely anybody's race.
2 words to describe today's slalom: diabolically slippery. I like it. Gold medal matchup, run number 2, Martha Gill against #1 qualifier Keilani Hines, who has some work to do. She's down by the full max differential of 1.5 seconds.
1.5 seconds, but if anybody can make it up, it's our fast qualifier, Keilani Hines. She's got the whole shot, so she's doing what she needs to do so far. It's such a fine line today on the course of overriding. Martha, she just needs to keep Keilani right in her sights, right in front of her. She knows she's got that advantage. She needs to stay smooth, but Keilani has everything to gain here, so she's gonna send it. Tiptoeing into these flat turns here, gonna lay down the power and try to get that advantage.
No way that's gonna be enough. Martha Gill will grab that gold medal.
So both riders pushing all the way to the line, and Martha doing exactly what she needed to do, keeping Keilani just in front of her and surviving this course today. I love how that element of the course came in right there at the end.
Thank you, you too.
Yeah, you see Keilani with that aggression out of the gate. Those second and third pedals, some of the strongest in the game. Knowing she had a 1.5 to make up, taking some pedals up the hills, pumping these jumps, gapping all the way down. She did everything she could do, but it wasn't quite enough.
And Keilani fought hard trying to make that happen. Impressive pushing that hard, not having a crash in that run, knowing she needed to make up that full 1.5 max differential. But Martha Gill, kudos to her as well, not just phoning it in and taking a safe run. There's no such thing as a safe run in these conditions.
Yeah, one of the things I've been noticing in the comments.
So Martha, first in the air DH, a third yesterday in speed and style. Speed and style is always a challenge because you got to figure out what tricks to do. But where do you rank this win right here amidst the other 2 medals you've racked up so far? What a challenging race in the mud.
Yeah, I mean, I love dual slalom, and as soon as the rain starts to come down, so it just flicks a switch in my brain. I'm like, yeah, it's go time.
Yeah, when the rain falls, it's a tough get going, and you know what, it's anybody's game, but it was really impressive watching you keep your composure out there. What's it like being side by side against Keilani?
Yeah, I mean, Keilani was pushing it all the way. She had the fastest time in qualies, so I knew I was going to have to put it down, but I also knew that I had to kind of race smart, especially with the corners getting pretty greasy.
Well, I think you should rub some dirt on that gold medal, put it in your trophy case so you can remember how it was to win it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love to hear her say that. That's so cool. She says, oh, when the rain starts falling, I say, it's on. You know, those are the people who win when the rain starts falling. There we go. The podium is set for the women as we take a look up at the top of the course right now. The men's gold medal matchup, run 2, loaded into the gate. Left side of your screen, Jacob Jewett, the young Canadian. And then on the right side of your screen, Jackson Frew, the #1 qualifier. Here's a look at run number 1.
Yeah, run number 1 was super tight between these 2 riders. Jacob pushing really, really hard. Again, we've been talking about it since the rain started falling. It's such a fine line, and you see him there cross over that line just a little bit, but able to make that save. And another save and bring it all the way home. But not going to be an easy task here in the second round.
Jacob Jewett has the advantage despite a crazy run that was on the edge that we just saw there in run number 1. Jackson Frew, the #1 qualifier. Can he make up the .87 to take the gold?
See how Jackson's lined up to the far inside of that gate, looking for more traction out of the start. Super smart move there, and it worked with that hole shot, a 1.7 advantage on that hole shot. But Jacob really laying down the power. Where did that come from?
Bump jump.
Living on the edge, so close. Got to be so careful not to override it.
Oh, the finals. .87 needed.
Oh, Jacob swapping a little bit. He got gates being hit.
Oh, man, what's it going to be? No, not going to be enough for Jackson Frew. Jacob Jewett takes the gold.
What a race. Both riders on the edge.
Oh. I saw you like mess up or something. I was like, oh yeah, and then I just rode into the gate. I was like, fuck.
I love hearing the banter.
It's like you said earlier, so much happens in just a short 23 seconds. But you have so many stories to tell. You're like, what? How could so much happen?
Oh yeah. That's right, y'all.
There was that manual bump jump that Jacob did up to the top that was so fast coming into that left-hand berm. Look at that, he gets set to have the foot out. That's a great example of just evolving the strategy to suit the conditions. We got a little more strider race technique going from the Jacob Jewett there at the bottom. All right, Jacob, you got the whole collection. It's like when you eat cereal and you want to get all the toys to have the whole collection. You know, I don't know if you ever did that, but you got a third, you know, so a bronze, a silver, and a gold right now. This one was not easy to earn, was it?
No, that was quite stressful, but yeah, glad to stay off the ground and get it across the line.
When the rain starts falling, do you say, all right, opportunity, it's anybody's game, or do you say, oh gosh, this is going to be harder? You're from Canada, it rains a lot. Do you like the rain?
I like the rain, but not necessarily for this event. But I don't know, I kind of find the rain takes the pressure off a bit because anything can happen. So yeah, just try to stay focused and stay off the ground.
Anything can happen, and what did happen was you won. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Way to go. Bravo. Whoa, a first, a second, and a third at the first stop of the 2024 Crankworx World Tour for the young Canadian Jacob Jewett. He's got to be looking pretty good in those King of Crankworx overall points. If only we had mathematicians on our production team who could crunch the numbers and give us a King of Crankworx overall leaderboard. How cool would that be? Oh my gosh. Look at that manual bump jump. Cool. Oh, we do. Thanks, y'all. Jacob Jewett at the top of the list. 240 points to his name, a full 18 points ahead of the reigning king, Tuhoto Ariki Penny. Ryan Gilchrist knocked out early in today's slalom race, but still maintaining top 3 points. And then Jackson Frew taking that second place points to add to his tally. He's sitting in 4th so far. Things are looking pretty exciting.
Yeah, and a new name we've seen in this top 8, Lockie. He's sitting 5th right now after round 1. So it's going to be exciting to see where he shows up to and what more he can do.
Well, if our team put together the King of Crankworx leaderboard, I'll bet you they also have been working on figuring out the Queen of Crankworx leaderboard right now. I wonder what names are on that. Yes! Asking you shall receive. What do you got?
Man, Martha Gill with a commanding lead right here. She was talking about being a specialist, and man, this is pretty special lead she has right here coming out of this first race. Man, all those points right here in Rotorua up for grabs, and she's doing everything she can. Also a couple of new names in there. Shania Rawson keeping her honest in 2nd place. Cassie Voisey. It's going to be a great season.
It has begun. Things are well underway for the 2024 Crankworx World Tour. We got King leaderboards, we got Queen leaderboards, and we got more events for you. Not just this weekend, we have more events for you today. What do we have coming up later today, Alan?
Oh, we got pump track under the lights, and this is probably one of the coolest pump tracks that we can see because it's almost like a stadium. It's just all people surrounding. You're in this bowl. It's so exciting. I can't wait for it.
It's like the amphitheater, and also the crowd here. They always get super loud.
Yeah, and we've seen some unbelievable performances. We've had people introduced as, you know, new riders to contend with this actual pump track here. That's where we really first saw Tuhoto, and he won that, and we saw a few other New Zealand riders, so it's going to be exciting.
So depending on where you are in the world, where you're joining us from, go do something fun. Maybe go for a bike ride. Maybe take a little nap, but set your alarm for the pump track because it's going to be great. Make sure you subscribe to the Red Bull Bike YouTube channel. Leave your comments. We're going to join you back in a few hours for the Pump Track Challenge. I've been your host, Cam McCall, alongside Alan Cook. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you in a few hours for Pump Track.